else get forced to play the recorder in middle school, I had to play this, and then we got little ribbons when we did songs, and I have a whole 5 ribbons, which means I have 6 ribbons. Damn, I have a whole 6 ribbons, which means I learned 6 songs. I don't remember how to play any of the songs that I learned, but that's okay. Anyway, hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sabrina, and in this video, I'm just literally gonna sit here and talk about things that I love. Yeah, today's video, I'm literally just gonna discuss things that I love. I'm going to try in this video as well to be a little bit like better spoken, because I've noticed in a lot of my other videos I can't get my point across. Like, I can't explain myself because I'm like trying to rush my words out. So with this one, I'm really gonna take my time and really explain to you why I love these things. This girl has like an obsessive, addictive personality. I have to like prevent myself from getting obsessed with things because I know once I'm invested, I will not do anything else. I haven't had one in a while. It was way worse when I was like 14, 15. Oh my god. Only thing I could think about was obsessive. Like, I would get a celebrity crush or something, and then that person would be the only thing I could think about. That wasn't great, but I've gotten better about it. And these are just things now that I really love. They bring me so much happiness. Like, these are all, a lot of them are very simple things, but they just bring me so much joy, and I want to talk about them. And I have a YouTube channel where I can talk about whatever I want because it's my YouTube channel. So why not discuss the things that I love? Picked 5 things. It's not really 5 things, but it's like 5 things kind of. You'll see what I mean as I go. And yeah, I just really want to talk about these things. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I hope you enjoy. I mean, even if you're not that interested in these things, I find that watching people talk about things they're really passionate about is just interesting. So I hope that's how this goes. I hope if you are not interested in these things, you still find it interesting that I'm interested. That's all for the intro, and let's just get started with the things that I really love. I feel like the first one is really obvious. I made an entire channel surrounding it, and that is books. I love books. I love every aspect of books. Like, I love reading books, I love buying books, I love collecting books, I love watching other people talk about books. There's nothing about books that I don't love. Like, yes, I read books occasionally that I don't like, but just books as a concept, I love them. And I think this is a pretty normal, universal thing people love. I love the feeling when you're reading an amazing book and you just forget about time or that it's not real, and you just get so attached to the character. I love it. There's almost nothing better than that feeling when you're so invested in a book that you can't put it down. Like, it's the best. And honestly, I hunt for that feeling in like most books that I read. I can't always find it, but when you do, it's amazing. I mean, I say I love books, but let's also have a look at the books that I love more than I love other books. Basically, my normal bookshelf is over there, but I have in my bedroom, I have my favorite books. It's not all of my favorite books. I have some favorite books that I read like on Kindle that I don't own, or some of these books here are not necessarily favorite. I mean, they're like 4 or 3, but I want to keep them with the series. Let's just have a quick look at them, and I'll just point out a couple that I really, really love. Okay, this one is kind of like, I love this book, but it's not because it's a good book, okay? And I think that already explains what it is. Twilight. I love Twilight because in a way, I'm just like extremely thankful to this book, because this is what made me start reading. This is one of the first books that I read where I was like, I like to read. And I'm dyslexic, so reading was not a thing I did. I hated it. It was hard. I did not enjoy it. And then I watched all the Twilight movies, got obsessed with Edward, like everybody does, and I was like, I must read it. I have to read it. I read this book, obsessed, right? It's not a good book. We all know Twilight is not a good book, but we all love Twilight. It just has like a special place in my heart. Like, it just, I love Twilight. I love it, even though it's bad. The other book that just literally is like incredible, brings me so much amazingness that I've been chasing ever since, is such an obvious one, but it's these two. And like, come on. What girly on BookTube is not obsessed with these? I don't know which one I liked better, but I loved both of these. I loved them so much. The joy that I experienced while reading this is literally unmatched. They're just so good. Like, this book destroyed me. It was like 1 in the morning. I'm sitting in my bed sobbing. I don't know. The way that these books are able to take me to a different place is just amazing. And not all books are, like, not all books can do what these books did. And I think that's another reason why they're so incredible. I love them. I just love love them. I just love them. It gives you something to look forward to. Everything about books, the community, the recommendations from each other, being able to talk with people about books, all of it is just so incredible. And then for my last book that we're gonna talk about, another one is this book. Again, I'm being super basic, but there's reasons these are really famous books. Yeah, sorry. This, again, one of the first books that I ever read. I have a picture of this shelf. This was the first bookshelf that I got. I have a picture when I went to the secondhand English bookstore. I think I found this book, Daisy Jones and the Six, and The Watchmaker of Filigree Street. Daisy Jones and the Six and this one are my favorite shelves. But I had like those 3 books on this shelf. This was the only shelf I had, and I've expanded to another bookshelf because collecting books is a whole hobby of itself, and I love that one too. Normal People by Sally Rooney. This book was monumental for me. Like, the way that I was able to relate to this book in a way that I've never related to like anything else was insane. That's another thing. I feel like I love books so much because they make you feel seen. Like, you feel so seen in books. You find that book that just resonates with you, and it literally just puts a new perspective on everything, and I love that. I think that is incredible. That's why I love books. I love books for the community aspect. I love books for the collection aspect. I love collecting things. I'm a hoarder. Like, I love the escapism. I love the entertainment. I love everything about it. And also, the thing about books is I like fiction books, obviously, from what I've just showed you. For some reason, reading a fiction book is like extremely entertaining, but it feels like I'm doing something productive. Like, reading feels like I'm accomplishing something way more than I feel like I've accomplished something if I were to just watch a movie or YouTube videos. I don't know why that is, but reading makes me feel productive. Like, it feels like a good activity. So yeah, that's the first thing. Reading, books, absolutely love them, but I think we all knew that. So let's move on to the second thing that I absolutely love. The second thing that I really love, you can see in the background. Can you guess what it is? It's my plants. The second thing that I'm really literally obsessed with is my little houseplant. They make me so happy, and I'm going to try and articulate why right now. It's gonna be difficult, but I'm gonna try. Okay, let's just start with the basics. Let's start simple with I love how my plants look. Not all of them. I have a couple plants that I bought when I first started collecting my plants that I don't really like anymore. The second thing is I love taking care of them. I love doing all the little activities. I love watering my plants, checking if the soil is dry enough, if the soil is wet enough. I had bugs, which I didn't really love, but I loved the process of taking care of them. I loved researching, like, what do I have to do to get rid of these bugs? What do I do now? And I just, the whole process of it, so fun. Gardening, for some reason, is one of those things that just brings me so much relaxation. I also have plants outside. I feel, this is gonna sound crazy, but I feel like a literal connection to my plant. Like, I feel like I'm watching them grow up. If you think I sound absolutely insane, you're more than welcome to think that, because I'm having similar thoughts as I sit here and edit this. Plants, whenever they're in your house and making new plants, you can like see the little sprout coming out and then like open up into a leaf, and it's just so beautiful to me. Like, they're so beautiful, and the whole process makes me so happy, and seeing them grow, I literally am like proud of them. I'm like, look at you go, good job. Like, you did that all by yourself. Like, I helped a little bit, I gave you water, but you made those leaves, my friend. I feel very attached to them. My parents call them their grand plants because I call them my children, so then they're my parents' grand plants, which I think is quite cute, actually. Let's go through and I'll show you some of my favorite plants that I have. The first one, the obvious one, the first plant that got me into this entire thing, my Monstera. Isn't she beautiful? It doesn't look like a Monstera yet because it does not have holes yet, obviously. It doesn't have the classic like cheesy holes because it's a baby. It's a baby. I got this plant when I had maybe 4 or 5 leaves, and then the rest have all grown whilst it's been in my possession. So yeah, this is the newest leaf that this guy has been producing. At my university, they have a couple of Monsteras that are absolutely massive, and I always walk past it and I'm like, one day mine will look like that. So yeah, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I love this plant. I love it so much. If my words are not articulating how much I love these things, just look at my face. Like, the way that I'm sitting here stroking my plant, I hope that conveys how much I love them. I'm gonna save my favorite for last, okay? My most precious plant for last. It's not in the shot right now because it's somewhere else. The next one that I really love is this plant. This is a little purple passion. It doesn't look that good on this angle because the specialness of it comes from being filmed properly. But the reason that I love this one is because it grows so freaking fast. It grows, I bought this when it was itty bitty. I'll put a picture on the screen. and it's been like 2 or 3 months and it's like this. Like crazy. It grows so fast. It's so easy. I literally have to do nothing for this plant. I don't have to do anything, and it's so rewarding, and she's so pretty and beautiful. She's so soft. Almost, she gives off emo vibes, doesn't she? It's my little emo purple passion plant, and I love her. And then lastly, my literal most prized possession right now, like this plant is my soul. If this plant does not keep growing, if this plant dies for whatever reason, I'm going with it. And it's this. It's my alocasia frydek. She is just a beautiful beast, and she's growing like crazy. Now that summer has started, my plants have literally just like taken off. The newest one on this plant, is it this one? It's this leaf. You can see it's a little bit more green on the edges than, for example, this one is a bit darker. But again, look at the size of this thing. But this guy is thriving. He is loving life. I love that I'm switching between pronouns for my plants. They're all non-binary because, I mean, they're plants, so they don't mind. And it's growing a new little guy. There is a new one, and right there is a new one. And this one is in a beautiful pot. I just love it. I love it so much. That's all I really have to say about plants. Plants make me so happy. I feel like a proud mother, basically. That's my second thing that I completely and utterly love that brings my life so much joy. Let's move on to the third thing that I love. So the next thing that I absolutely adore is pottery and ceramics. I don't have anything to show you right now because, well, I can show you a couple of things that I've made. Obviously, pottery and ceramics is not really an accessible hobby. Like, you can't just say one day, I want to do pottery, because you need like the clay and the glazes and the kiln. None of it is easy. I happen to live really close to a pottery studio that offers lessons, and it's literally my favorite thing. It's my highlight of my week when I go to take my class. So let's go through like the layers of why I love pottery. The first one and the most obvious is the final product. I really enjoy the look of ceramics. Like, this is a ceramic pot. I love the way glaze give texture. I love the texture of glaze. You can't see this, but I'm rubbing it and it's very smooth. That's the first thing. The aesthetics of pottery, I love it. I love a good mug. I love a little sculpture. I love useless little items that people made, that people express their creativity in. That's the second thing. That's the second thing. I really love that you can do anything. I can literally let my wildest dreams come true and make them out of pottery. I can make whatever I want. There's literally no rule. Like, for some reason, it just clicked for me. Like, it's like an art form meshes so well with my skills. And the third thing is that it's literally like my form of meditation. It brings me so much peace. I could be having the most stressful week of my life, and then those 3 hours that I have pottery class, I think of nothing else. Only thing I'm thinking about is the clay. And it's not a conscious effort, which is what makes it incredible. Like, I'm not sitting there thinking like, I'm doing my pottery now, so we're relaxing, whatever. Like, no, I get into the studio, I start doing it, and everything just leaves. Like, it just flows out of me, and all I'm doing is just like, you need to focus. But it's not like I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I have to do this. Like, it just happens. Like, it just happens, and I don't have to think and do it. It's so relaxing to me. I can see why for other people it'd be stressful, but it matches perfectly with my idea of relaxation. And I love going. I love the people at my pottery class. I love my teacher. And afterwards, I have like an inexplicable joy. Like, when I leave that studio, I feel lighter. Like, I don't know how to explain these feelings, but it's incredible. But let me show you a couple of the things that I have made over the time. First of all, most of the things I make are absolutely useless. They're just like ideas that I have in my head that I then really want to make. Let me grab some of the things I made. We can have a look at them. Okay, I have the first thing here, and it literally fits in the palm of my hand, because what it is a collection of small breads. I only have 4 left. I had a whole collection of these when I first made them, but they're so small that whenever they fall on the floor, I just kind of lose them, which is really sad. And then I glazed them white. So here we have a freaking bagel. Like, how cute is that? So these obviously were super simple to make and required like no skill at all, but they're so cute. I love them. I love them so much. Okay, I have a couple more things. I also just realized these things that I'm showing you now are quite old. I made all of these things in like 2020, and then I did another course in like 2021 or 22. But I'm socially anxious person. I'm an idiot. And basically to pick up the pieces, I needed my mom to come with me because I needed a car to put all of it in because I can't. I had too much stuff to bike with. Also, you just kind of walk into the studio and like look for someone and then talk to them. And that was really scary to me. So I wanted my mom to come with me, and then we just never did it. And after 3 months, after the course, they throw it out. So all my pieces from my last course got thrown in the trash because I'm too much of a wimp to go to a place by myself. I made this little mushroom. It's a little house. I thought this glaze would be more red, but that's the other beauty of pottery and ceramics, is that it's like a science experiment. And then the last thing that I'm going to show you for now, this little like Loch Ness monster plate thing. It's not great, but I just loved making it. I just think it's great. I really like it. The one thing I'm working on making a really big pot. I'm also working on making a little tree house that has like a whole backstory with like elves and stuff. That's another thing that I really love to do in pottery. While I'm sitting there and making the item, I'm like adding things because I think of things. Like it started off as just like a tree log with a bunch of protruding things on it, but then I drew a little door on it, and then I was like, oh my god, it's a whole village. And then I started drawing smaller doors, and I added a little balcony, and I added some stairs, and it just became its whole like thing of its own that has like a story. And like I know exactly what story I made up with my little piece, but for other people, they'll look at it and think of their own story. So that's another thing that I really enjoy about it. It's one of my favorite things on the planet. If you ever get the chance to try it, give it a go. It's something special in my opinion. Okay, so this next thing that I really love is going to be even more difficult to articulate than the rest, and that is because it is science. These are my textbooks. I walked over here with the intention of bringing them back to you, but now I'm realizing that I don't want to do that because they're really, really heavy. I love science. I love learning about the world around me. I love obtaining more knowledge. I love seeing things and fully understanding what is going on. Just the concept of getting more knowledge and putting it in my brain is so cool to me. Especially now at university, I'm learning things that I'm like, how on earth did they even figure that out? The random facts that I know, incredible. It's so fun. It's so fun. Like some things you just never think about in a different perspective than just like I'm seeing it. Your body, plants, you just look at them like this is my body, this is my plants. I didn't used to think of it as like thousands and thousands of cells working together to make everything happen. And when I really started to think about it, I was like, wow, flabbergasted, perplexed. Like everyone always says like your body is complicated and it's a blah, blah, blah. Like you don't understand until you take one of these classes, and like, it's insane. I'm obsessed. I love it. Like, let me show you my poster. When I was 15, I was like, I should decorate my room. At the time, I was obsessed with Why Don't We? Did I get a Why Don't We poster? No, I got a metabolic pathways poster, like every normal person. Here we have the Krebs cycle. Here we have glycolysis. Catch me just standing here and like looking at this. I could literally talk forever about how cool this poster is. I love it. I just love it. Like, look at that. Isn't that so freaking cool? Here's the Krebs cycle. So cool. And also, like, low-key, like, good room decor. Like, isn't that not cool to have in your room? It probably is not cool, but I think it's cool. But yeah, that's basically science. I don't have much to say about that one because it's really hard to conceptualize. I love the things we can learn. I have like forever curiosity. Cool. And this is coming from a nerd. Like, I'm a very massive self-proclaimed nerd. Is there times while I'm studying that I'm like, I hate this and I'm switching to an English major? Yes, that does happen. But that's more to do with my ass procrastinating and then having to do it all in like 10 minutes, and then it's not fun. But when I actually have time to sit down and properly read stuff, I'm enthralled. I really like small science, like tiny, tiny, tiny science, like molecules and pathways and cells. Like that type of stuff really interests me. I mean, I don't enjoy physics because it doesn't click for me, but I do still find it extremely interesting. And I think a lot of people love science. They just don't realize it. That's my fourth thing that I really, really love. It's just simply the category of science. I don't think I'm 100% born in the right time, but like in terms of science, I so am. The scientific discoveries we're making nowadays, the things that I get to just do are insane. Like I just get to go to school and work in a lab that has equipment that's just like so freaking incredible and fancy. I can look at the smallest things. It's crazy. Like it's crazy. I just love it. I love practical science. I love theoretical science. I just love everything about it. I love talking about science. I love explaining science to other people. I love learning new things. If I ever get to the point where people are reading things that I wrote, that I found out, if I write a scientific paper where I literally figure something out about something that hasn't been found before, losing my shit. That's like a life goal. Like, I just want to discover something. I just want to be able to add to the massive bank of knowledge that we already have in a meaningful way. Like, and that's probably the nerdiest thing I've ever said, but it's true. So embrace it. Final category of things that I love is going to be the miscellaneous category. So these are kind of just like all little bits and bobs and things that I really love, but that are not really big enough to be their own category. So I'm just going to quickly go through them and show you all the little bits and bobs that I love. First thing, this little duck egg holder. I just can't explain it, but my plan is to put a little cactus in it, and it's going to be the cutest thing on the planet. The next thing that I love is candles. These are just a couple of the ones that I have right now, but I love matching the smell to the vibe of the situation. I love burning a candle when I'm studying. It just makes romanticizing my life so much easier. They just add to every situation. I love them. The next thing that I love is just that feeling when you're hanging out with your friends and you're just sitting there and you just take a moment to look around and you're like, wow, these are my people. I love these people and I love spending time with them. I think it's one of the best feelings in the world. Now that we're already in the bathroom, let me show you what else I love here. I love my little skincare routine with my little Ordinary products. Literally just every night doing the ritual of like putting them on in the little order that I found works best for my skin. There's something about it. It makes me feel happy about myself. It makes me feel accomplished, makes my skin look nice. I love it. And that's all for the things that I love in the bathroom. The next thing that I love is my desk and everything surrounding it. I love looking at my little picture wall of all my friends, but especially I love my drawers. I'm not showing you them because they're so messy, but I love them because they have all my pens. I love my Tombos. There's just something about collecting pens and like it brings me a lot of joy. And then now that we're already on the topic of stationery, the other thing that I really love is my journal. That's the first journal that I think I'll actually be able to finish. So this is literally just my junk journal. I called it Sabrina's all-purpose journal. I'm not gonna show you everything in here, but I'll show you a couple honorable mentions of things that I've done that I really love. I kind of literally just do anything in here. Like if I wanna make a scrapbook page, do it in here. If I wanna write down my feelings, I do it in here. If I found a nice picture that I just wanna keep, put it in here. Love this. I took high inspiration from someone on Pinterest who also did this I love vampires thing, but I love vampires, so I had to make that page, of course. This scrapbooking spread, I love it. And then just to show you some diversity of like the stuff that I do in this book, here is a page that's about like my studying, trying new things to make myself more productive. Here, for example, this is a time that I just wanted to talk about my feelings. I'll just write it all in this book. I'm covering this picture here because it's not YouTube appropriate, but look at this collage. It's basically like just a mood board. Like it's a Pinterest board, but in my note. I love it. It brings me so much joy. So yeah, that's all that I really have to show you at my desk for things that I love. Let's move to the next location, shall we? Another thing that I really love is trees. I don't have any trees near my house, unfortunately, but I used to live in a place where I did, and I love trees. Like, just something about trees brings me so much joy, especially evergreen trees. I have an entire Pinterest board dedicated to just different trees and like scenery with trees, going to forests and just like looking at the trees. Like, trees make me so happy. Like, I'm a tree hugger. Like, I literally want to buy a cabin in the woods in Norway. As soon as I have enough money, that's what we're doing, people. And then the last thing that I've recently really been loving is this water bottle. It's a Yeti. It's my father's, but I've stolen it basically. Big. It's the perfect size. I don't know how big this is, but it's really nice. Those are all of the things I love. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for listening to me talk about the things I love. I had an incredible time making this because yeah, I just got to talk about things that I really like, which is always really fun. I hope this was still interesting to you, even if you're not such a big fan of some of the things that I am. Maybe you found some new things to be interested in. Overall, just thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, like and subscribe, and maybe I'll see you in another video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye! If you made it this far into the video, comment your favorite thing down below.